Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much for your tweets. Craig's suffering with allergies, but he's taken a pill that's non-drowsy, but apparently non-drowsy. Two pills. Well, that
got
could
back
be
from the early morning round of golf before the Arsenal game.
Right.
And I forgot to take, I couldn't find the tablets this morning. Big mistake.
Yes.
And it was quite a big nose I've got, so when this runs, I thought I'd get that in. I'll get it in before you get it in. When this nose runs...
Get your life vest on.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Oh, wow.
I don't have allergies as bad as some people. Some people get them really bad, but bad enough.
Okay.
You want to see the hanky I've been using?
No, thank you. No, we don't need that. How are you, Frank?
I'm good. I don't have any allergies, so I'm fine.
Good.
You know, I'm getting old properly, I would say.
Beautiful. I'm pleased to hear that, Frank. How impressive was Arsenal's resilience versus Newcastle, Frank? How can you young players improve their finishing? Odegaard, Saka and Martinelli missed big chances in the game.
Well, I explained during the show that I found that this team has matured very much, comparing to last season, for example. And today they played as grown-ups. The atmosphere that you can find at St James's Park is one of the biggest and maybe the scariest for young players. And they handled it very well. They showed that, as the question said, resilience. They never give up. They know exactly where they want to go. They were sure about their football. And I wouldn't say that they really deserve to win, but I'm not surprised that they won, and they won that way. So I think it was a very nice, in a neutral point of view, it was a very nice game, and I think I would say the best team won.
Any concerns that Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli missing chances?
Not really. They've had great seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Get better, putting themselves in really good positions.
I mean, Martinelli's got, 15 goals this season? Mm-hmm. So his finishing ain't that bad.
Stevie, as a defender, when your goalkeeper routinely makes mistakes, how does it change the way you play? Do you keep to the manager's tactics outright, or do you adjust to try and compensate for his deficiencies?
Absolutely adjust to his deficiencies.
Right.
If his kicking's rotten, don't give him it. You kick it. Real simple. Real simple. The less he has it, the better.
Right.
That's it, in a nutshell.
Frank?
Yes, of course. I mean, you have to make sure that you avoid all mistakes and you secure everything you can secure. So if you don't feel safe, you handle it. It's better.
It's like Big Jim Leighton. I don't know why they call him Big Jim, because he's actually not that
Right.
big.
Not
Jim. But Big Jim Leighton,
If you don't know who Jim Leighton is, very attractive man.
Aberdeen. Jim might be watching this.
What do you think so, with the Vaseline on his eyebrows?
In his sofa, he's covered in Vaseline. Jim Leighton, former Aberdeen, Man United, Scotland goalkeeper. Good goalie. But Jim's deficiency, although he would probably disagree, was cross balls.
Okay.
Part of it. Not that he never came out, but Willie Miller and Alec McLeish, the two big strapping Aberdeen centre-halves, would tailor their game because it was unlikely Jim was going to be coming out. So they were very strong at heading balls away.
When David James had like the Calamity James moments, how do you deal with that as a senior player? How did you try and help him, take the mickey out of him? Like what do you do?
No, you try and show them a bit of consideration and give them a pat on the back and try and encourage them.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing else you can really do. Absolutely nothing else you can do. You've just got to try and encourage them and hope that it never happens again.
Well, Ian Porterfield never gave Dave Besant much consideration.
Yeah, that's the opposite side of it.
When Dave was a Wimbledon Newcastle goalie, very good goalie.
Yeah.
Big, but he, at one point at Chelsea, it's about 92, 93, he was having a terrible time. Like, he was like that sort of David De Gea thing today, bobbling over him.
It was 2 in one game.
It was two in the one game. And Ian Porterfield, who's no longer with us, went on live TV and said basically he's sacked. He'll never play for this club again.
I remember that, yeah.
And Best being Best, Big Dave the next week in training got his own back and the manager got 2 broken ribs. But he didn't go up and hit him.
No, but it was in the game.
The manager was joining in the 5-a-sides because that's what he was like.
Yes.
And Big Dave just waited for a cross ball to come in and come out and absolutely milled him. Because I remember Porterfield got into the Bob Ward, the physio, and I can't repeat what he said, but that big such and such, two broken ribs. So yeah.
Given the large-scale surgery required to the squad and uncertainty regarding the transfer budget due to the takeover, do you think it would be wise for Ten Hag to buy players from clubs in the relegation, like Klopp did, buying Wijnaldum and Robertson? What do you think, Stevie? Looking to pick those who go down?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you consciously go and look for somebody because they're going to get relegated and do it that way.
Right.
You know, I would assume that teams like Liverpool and United will have tabs on every player, regardless of where they play, and will have targets of who they like. And if they're not on the list of the players that they like, I don't think they're just going to go because a club's getting relegated and just take somebody. I don't think they work that way.
Frank, how happy are you that Chelsea survived their relegation battle by beating Bournemouth yesterday?
Well, I was with the fans singing at the end of the game, we're staying up, staying up. You know, it's what the fans did in the stands. That was funny. That was very funny. Yeah, well, I have to say, I felt relieved because I wasn't sure that with the series of games that Chelsea played and lost, you know, that we will stay up. So it's done, and I found the spirit very good. So I'm happy for the Blues, you know, erase that year, that season, and think about the future. Hopefully, it's going to be brighter.
I bet Frank Lampard was chuffed, wasn't he?
I bet. Got sort of a sigh of relief.
He was definitely sat at home thinking about what would have been 10 defeats or thereabouts to the end of the season. He's definitely been thinking about it.
Yeah.
What a mess that would have been.
For Stevie, yesterday, Liverpool had Jota, Nunez and Salah starting up front. Going into next season, who should Klopp start up front between those three? Diaz and Gakpo?
I think as we stand, if there was an important game tomorrow, I think the front three would be Diaz, Gakpo and Salah.
What's happened to Nunez?
I don't think anything's happened to him. I mean, he's still a bit raw. He still doesn't quite have the composure in front of goal. And basically right now, the three players that I mentioned are ahead of him when it comes to being in situations to score goals and create.
Do you think it'll come good?
I do, yeah.
Why?
Well, because he gets into goal-scoring positions. He doesn't take as big a percentage as he should, but again, he's still young and he's still learning. He's an absolute handful, and it's not as if he doesn't score, he doesn't contribute, because he does. He contributes as far as assists, and he contributes as far as taking defenders away and creating havoc and creating space. So, yeah, he's got a lot of positives. It's just unfortunate that right now he's probably missed too many opportunities, and that's why from starting he was put on the bench.
There's definitely a player in there.
Aye.
Right.
Well, you don't pay that kind of money if there's not.
Yeah.
But I'm with Stevie. I think he's trying to do everything. He's a bit like Modric at Chelsea, but he's further ahead than that. Everyone's 100 mile an hour.
Right.
He needs to slow down in his head.
And that will come with age.
And confidence and games. He's got the pace,
yeah.
He's got the physique, but he just needs to slow down a little bit.
Saw the Guard of Honour, Craig, by Fiorentina for Napoli. Do you think that Rangers will extend this courtesy to Celtic when they host them next week? How do you think Rangers fans will receive it?
I think if they want to be nailed on 100% riot, then yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, listen, you got to understand the Scottish psyche of people that support those two clubs.
Yeah.
To understand, it's just, I mean, it's hatred.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think it goes too far, but it really is. So no, not a chance. Not a chance.
Dan, can we talk about that silly thing?
What thing?
You know, I don't understand that. I don't understand that thing of, you know, as a professional football player, because you are the team who plays against the team who just won the title, you have to do a line of honor. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, guard of
That's
honor.
stupid. That's not your job. Yeah, it's not your job. I mean, we don't have to thank them or congratulate them. They are opponents. We're not there to congratulate them. We don't care. So leave the next team of the next game alone and do something with the fans. I don't know, whatever it is, but not the opponent. For me, it doesn't make any sense. I would have felt so ashamed to applaud the team who won the title just because I was there randomly. So, no, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm happy that Celtic or Rangers don't do that. I don't care.
I think it's called respect, isn't it? No?
Talk to Frank, not me.
Well, I'm just... It's just a respect thing.
Respect. I respect them. I don't have to. I'm sorry. There are words that we cannot say on TV. But really, I don't have to be too nice to them. I would say, well done, congratulations. I say that inside, but not in the middle of the field. I don't have to be nice to an opponent. I don't care.
Well, I don't think we have to worry about it on this occasion.
No.
That's all right.
It's not happening.
It doesn't mean you can't kick him when the whistle goes, Frank. No,
Yeah, but still, I don't have to do anything. I mean, it doesn't bring anything to me. And I think it brings something against me if I have to do that. I'm a team, I have fans, I don't have anything for the club who wins. So why should I congratulate and do that in front of everybody? No, I don't want to do that. Leave me alone, do that with your friends.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on the field? Oh, we've got a whole list of off the field things.
I kicked a corner flag, but I was trying to take a quick corner at Old Trafford of all places, and I kicked the corner flag.
And did anybody notice?
Well, I did the usual. You know when you do something like that and you're like, I wonder if anybody noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course.
That's about it. That's
Why he did that actually at Hillsborough? One time he went on the right side at Hillsborough, tried to take a quick corner, booted the corner flag, and then the Sheffield Wednesday players realised, they came out, and then he started shielding the ball. It was in the quadrant. But the quadrant. But yeah, I remember at Celtic, I went overlapped Jackie McNamara, who was the fullback, and I went from the midfield, overlapped him in front of the main stand. He played me in, and I'm running at full speed. I went to cross it, I toe poked it with my left foot, then I swung at it, fell over, right? And I was jogging back to the bench, and they were all laughing.
Yeah.
Me, Brian Scott, and the physio were all going, I was going back like that.
What about you, Frank?
Oh my God. One of the last games of my career, I was with Marseille, and I played in Nantes, against Nantes. And we had a free kick for us, maybe halfway. I wanted to launch the ball to the striker behind the line. But suddenly on my run, I realized that if I was kicking the ball, he would have been offside. So I tried to stop and I slipped. So I missed the ball, I slipped. And the 50,000 people, got up and they applauded me, Oh my God, I was so ashamed. I was laughing at it because I said, what the hell I just done? I should have kicked the ball and not be embarrassed like that. Whatever, it's funny. After all, it's just funny.
Oh, very good, guys. There you are. Lovely. We survived extra time. We will be back tomorrow for more. Don't forget, Millwall against Blackburn. Craig's hosting that in the morning.
I'm hosting it?
You're doing it all.
Doing a lot.
Just me.
Just you. What do you think, Craig? I don't care. What a stupid question. Yes, I know. Thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.